Hey everyone, what is up? My name is Martin and welcome to AAA Digest. So a few weeks ago we made a video titled 70 Facts for Red Dead Redemption 2, which contained a little more than 70, but since then Rockstar and many other media outlets released a huge amount of details regarding Red Dead Redemption 2. So here's part 2, 111 facts for Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm sure a few will be missed. I'm not a full-time YouTuber, just a dude who uploads videos. So this is everything from gameplay to controls, world details, to small story facts for Red Dead Redemption 2, so let's go. Number 1, first person. So the entirety of the game can be played in first person as Red Dead Redemption 2 launches. So similar to GTA 5, we'll have the option to switch between third person and first person seamlessly. Number 2, Arthur Morgan, the game's protagonist, will naturally and quickly loot everything he sees on a table or shelf. When you hold down the A button, he will move from one item to the next, so you don't have to manually look at each item in order to loot it. Number 3, inspecting items. Although if you prefer, the player will have the option to pick up and inspect items in first person, as well as other environmental narrative objects like notes, which can be found in drawers, chests, or tabletops, etc. So in first person, Arthur will actually manipulate the object in his hands as he takes a closer look at it. Number 4, extra lore. So notes, newspapers, cigarette cards, books, and other documents will be scattered throughout the world and can be found in shops, bars, during missions, and other locations, which will offer much more lore in regards to the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 and will keep the player updated with daily events and local news that is occurring in each specific location. Number 5, the kill cam. So after landing an impressive shot on an enemy, e.g. headshot from a long distance, we'll be given a cinematic perspective of that kill, similar to Max Payne 3, yet obviously massively improved. Number 6, with the honor system returning, being more law-abiding and noble, Arthur will receive more money from bounty hunting jobs, and slow-motion kill cams will be much more heroic. Yet if you choose to take a darker path with Arthur, you can expect much more cash from robberies, kidnappings, and more gruesome and brutal kill cams to represent your character. Number 7, similar to RDR1, while traveling to each mission as Arthur, you can choose to accompany gang members on the journey, or you can even make your way up and down the gang's formation and talk to whomever you choose, which will offer extra character details about that specific person. So there's quite a lot of missable dialogue in the game because it depends who you want to talk to. Number 8, Arthur can command his fellow gang members to attack enemies. An example used by Game Informer as they attack the O'Driscoll gang's camp, Arthur commands John to kill a member silently, which John agrees to. Arthur then states, quote, "Get your hands dirty for a change." And then John sneaks behind the outlaw and violently stabs him multiple times. It even makes Arthur Morgan wince. Number 9, clothing options. So there is a massive selection of clothing in stores, everything from hats, vests, suit jackets, boots, pants, bandanas, and more, which come in individual pieces, so you can mix and match clothes to fit your personal preference. Number 10, similar to GTA 5, Arthur can cover his face with a bandana or mask before committing a crime to hide his identity, although taking off the bandana when you're out of sight from the law will then lower his wanted level. Number 11, when browsing through clothing options, you actually scan through a catalogue on a shelf, so it has the feel of flicking through a physical book when you shop for goods. Number 12, a gunsmith sells specialized ammunition and weapon customization options for the player, and specific shopkeepers will sell unique items that can be only attained in that specific store, which is similar to RDR1. A unique golden knife, as a made-up example, may only be obtainable in the town of Valentine. Number 13, equipment offers bonuses. So weapon holsters can be purchased and will ensure that specific guns decay at a slower rate. You can also holster your pistols with some fancy animations, and bandoliers increase ammo capacity for long arm weapons up to 50%, while gun belts can increase base ammo for sidearms up to 50%. Number 14, you can holster your weapon with the use of L1 on PS4, and through the use of L1 again, you'll actually equip your weapon. Number 15, clothing customization. So each piece of clothing can be customized to a large extent, from tucking Arthur's shirt into his jeans, having an open or closed jacket, tucking Arthur's jeans into his boots, and you can even roll up Arthur's sleeves and much more. Number 16, posture changes. So Arthur changes his posture and body language based on the weather and specific conditions. In bad weather, he will adjust by tucking his chin down and bowing his head towards the ground to avoid getting his face wet. In extremely hot weather, he'll even unbutton his shirt a little to adjust to the heat. Just 2 small examples. Arthur's facial expressions, posture, and other specific animations change based on his moral code. So if you're playing as a villain or a black cat, then Arthur's mannerisms will be much different in comparison to being a much more noble character. Number 18, the music is also altered. So the game's music is said to be noticeably different based on your reputation. It will be slightly more heroic if you're a noble character and more menacing if you're playing as a renegade or typical outlaw. So the honor system will affect your overall experience much more in this game than RDR1. Number 19, so the dialogue you hear on horseback was recorded twice, at normal volume and a yelling variant. As characters drift apart, they start to shout their specific lines to continue the conversation, which is seriously a nice touch by Rockstar. Number 20, focus can be used on companions. So focus is used with L2 on PS4, which prompts conversation topics. As Arthur travels alongside his fellow gang members, you have the option of using the focus button by pressing L2 on PS4, which allows you to respond or create conversation with gang members as you travel to each mission start point. Number 21, warning shots. So something we seen during the gameplay trailer, holding up on the D-pad with your gun unholstered will let you fire warning shots into the air, scaring off animals and people. It can also pose challenges to tough guys in the area, or gain unwanted attention from the law who will investigate. Number 22, whistling. So Arthur also has the option to whistle for as long as you can hold the button, and he will eventually run out of breath, which is kind of funny. But whistling can also contribute towards hunting, as a whistle will cause the animal to tilt its head towards the sound, creating an opportunity for an easier shot, so it can be used to distract and attract enemies. Number 23, auto aim. So Red Dead Redemption 2 will yet again feature an auto aim assistance, just like the previous game, whereby zooming in with the left shoulder button will snap your cursor to an enemy. Although you have the option of changing this in the settings to either high, medium, low, or no aim assist. Number 24, dismembering is possible. So enemies' limbs can be blown off with weapons and explosives. An example used by IGN, fuck IGN, was that a shotgun is capable of blowing off outlaws' legs and arms at close range. And I'm assuming melee weapons are also capable of a similar outcome. So yeah, this game is going to be quite gruesome. Number 25, jail time. So Arthur can be placed in a jail cell if you choose to surrender, which prompts a random chance of Dutch and specific members of the gang breaking you out. Number 26, the prison breakout mission. So being placed into a jail cell, as I said, can lead to a large breakout organised by Dutch's gang, in which Arthur and co must outrun and escape the law. So in its own way, it's a unique mission that's caused by your own actions and getting caught by the law. Number 27, negative feedback. So continuously spending time behind bars will lead to negative feedback from both Dutch and the gang, as they are continuously wasting resources in order to break Arthur out of jail. This will give Arthur a lower reputation within camp. Number 28, the game has a tutorial mission. So chapter 1 is mostly based in the Grizzlies, northwest of Ambarino, up in the snowy mountains. Its economy revolves around livestock auctions, and this chapter takes place in an enclosed location at the start of Red Dead Redemption 2. So we actually have a tutorial region for a short portion of the game's story, as we're introduced to Dutch's gang, the controls, and the overall narrative within the Grizzlies. Number 29, chapter 2 takes place in New Hanover, a large, stereotypically western area which is located miles away from the Grizzlies, to emphasize how large the map actually is. Number 30, Red Dead Redemption 2 has 5 states. So we have Ambarino, Lemoyne, New Hanover, New Austin, and West Elizabeth, with the last 2 also appearing in Red Dead Redemption 1. So just a little insight into how large this game is, although expect much more detailed versions of West Elizabeth and New Austin this time around. Okay, now for a few of the major towns in the game. As I mentioned, we have Blackwater. Also we have Valentine. It is a tough and tumble town located in the Heartlands, New Hanover specifically. And Valentine's economy revolves around livestock auctions as well, which attracts traders, ranchers, cowboys, gamblers, outlaws, and prostitutes from far and wide, who are all looking to make money, raise some hell, and ultimately have a good time. Number 32, we then have Ansburg, which is also located in New Hanover. And in this town, life isn't easy for the miners and their families. Working conditions are terrible and they work for little pay, and many men have lost their lives down in the pit. Number 33, the city of Saint-Denis, or Dennis, which is one of the larger cities in the game. It is a key gateway into North America with a trade route that runs the length of the country. So it's a melting pot of cultures, and where businessmen, sailors, labourers, beggars, and thieves all live side by side. Number 34, next up is a town known as Strawberry, which is much easier to pronounce, which was a little more than a small logging town until the arrival of its new mayor, an East Coast eccentric who is obsessed with transforming this little town into a major attraction for wealthy tourists, so hopefully we stumble upon him at some stage. Number 35, not exactly a town, but a famous mountain in Red Dead Redemption 2 is called Mount Hagen, which is one of the more well-known peaks in the snowy, grizzlies of Ambarino. Number 36, then we have a small, remote settlement out in the swamps of Lemoyne known as Lagris. The people here are self-sufficient for the most part, making money here and there from fishing and acting as guides for travellers wishing to navigate the swamps. Number 37, and another town is known as Rhodes, which looks prime and proper on the surface, yet tensions and corruption runs deep in the southern town of Rhodes, as two major gangs lurk and fight over the region. Number 38, Arthur is presented with continuous choices throughout major missions. The choice to take out an enemy personally or leaving it to one of his companions can affect how the mission plays out and will lead to unique reactions from gang members, e.g. if you force Lenny to do everything during a mission, he'll react organically. Number 39, impact of mission choices. So mission choices can have a major impact on Arthur Morgan's code, honour and how he is perceived in the world. An example occurred after robbing one of Cornwall's trains. As Arthur, you can choose to execute the train conductors, take them as prisoners, or simply leave them. That choice will echo throughout the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 40, gang members come and go. So the player's choices will determine if specific members of Dutch's gang stay or go. GameSpot stated, gang members will both come and go, some as part of the story, and some as part of the choices you make as Arthur. Number 41, NPCs will reward Arthur for good deeds. So like I mentioned in our last facts video, NPCs will organically react to Arthur Morgan's actions in the world. Yet you, the player, and Arthur can also see major benefits for helping random NPCs. Polygon's article regarding their hands-on with Red Dead Redemption 2 stated that Arthur had saved a man from a snakebite in the wild, and they had returned to Valentine. Arthur entered a gun store in town, and the shop owner was the man he saved from the snakebite. The player then got a free gun for that random act of kindness. Number 42, speaking of snakebites, you can save snakebite victims with specific health tonics. Although in this case, Arthur saved the man by sucking the poison out of the wound. So yeah, that is also an option in RDR 2, which is pretty cool. Number 43, possibly one of my favorite facts, weight gain and weight loss. So Arthur can gain and lose weight based on how much or little he eats. Eating isn't completely necessary, but will offer slight stat benefits if you choose to do so. This was actually a pretty fun feature in GTA San Andreas. I'm pretty happy to see it make a return. Number 44, resting. So Arthur Morgan is capable of suffering fatigue after long periods of time on the road. So he will need to rest on occasion, either at camp, local motels, etc. And if you don't, his stamina will decrease and his health will not regenerate. And don't worry, this isn't built to be like The Sims. It's not going to be constant and annoying. It's Rockstar's way of reminding the player that Arthur Morgan is a person. Number 45, clothing. So clothing choice will also have a small impact on specific stats. Arthur may receive stamina penalties if he's wearing a simple t-shirt in freezing conditions. So you, the player, will have to adjust Arthur's clothing to face specific weather conditions. Number 46, food recipes. So the game has a selection of different food recipes available, which Arthur can hunt and scavenge supplies to complete these specific recipes for the gang's cook, Pearson. Although do be warned, as I said, Arthur can get fat, so maybe don't eat them all at once. Pro tip. Number 47, crafting. So Red Dead Redemption 2 has a crafting system, which is said to be somewhat in-depth, but materials found in the world, animal bones and skins, etc., can be gathered and be used to craft specific items. Number 48, resources, ammo and weapons can be created. So health tonics, molotovs, bow and arrows, ammo and clothing are the type of items and resources that can be crafted. 49, tonics, drugs and other consumables can boost health, stamina and the Deadeye meter for a temporary time period. Also, there is said to be a tonic that will make your hair and facial hair grow faster. Number 50, after killing a specific animal, you can actually wear its carcass as a hat. Number 51, you can customize weapons to a large degree by outfitting weapons with all kinds of ornamentation. Rifles can have their metal types changed, handles can be added or removed from the weapon, and weapons can also be engraved. Number 52, weapons have viewable statistics. So everything from damage output, range, the gun's fire rate, reload time, overall accuracy, and condition. These are all viewable. Number 53, tactical combat. So combat is slightly more tactical than previous Rockstar titles. Arthur will take major damage if hit cleanly, and he'll be forced to consume health tonics for some tougher fights, and will actually rely heavily on cover as the AI have improved significantly. And organized gangs will work together to flank the player's position. Number 54, resilient enemies. So some enemies such as outlaws, gang members and lawmen will also take slightly more damage than previous Rockstar games. Red Dead Redemption 2 wants the player to be accurate and focus on hitting vital organs and aim for headshots, as it will take a few more bullets than usual to take out enemies. So if you're hitting their arms, legs or shoulders, etc., do realize it won't be enough. Number 55, possums will play dead as Arthur approaches like they would in real life. So hopefully this mechanic is used with skittish NPCs too. Number 56, bodies of killed enemies are marked as a small X on the minimap. So you can return and loot their corpses if you missed any, because as I mentioned, bodies don't disappear, they will decay. Number 57, and killed animals are marked with a paw print on the minimap, so you can return to skin or place them on your horse, yet do realise it will be at much lower quality than a fresh animal kill. Number 58, Arthur can look at a mirror and comment on what he sees. So while viewing his own reflection, Arthur will organically make a comment, although the dialogue system can also be used by the player as you're looking at a mirror with Arthur. So if your specific Arthur happens to be getting fat or too skinny, then he will make remarks about what he sees. So theoretically, you can get fat, then fat shame yourself, which is kind of funny. Number 59, Arthur can swim. So as we knew from a previous trailer, Arthur could enter water, but it's been confirmed that he can swim to some extent. Although his ability to swim will be affected by his stamina levels, and if Arthur is actually shot in deep water, he is likely to drown. Number 60, lifting body. So I didn't mention this in the previous facts video. Bodies can be moved and carried by the main protagonist, including animals that can be placed on horses, and outlaws can be thrown into rivers or onto campfires, etc. Number 61, gang members will also loot. So fellow gang members are capable of looting corpses, ammo and items too. So if you happen to bring along a few of your fellow outlaws, do realize they can potentially beat you to some loot. Number 62, the gang get a cut, so items, money and other supplies that are looted during missions and elsewhere are shared among the camp, which are seen as donations to the cause. Yeah, Dutch really is a cult leader, isn't he? So as I mentioned in the previous video, Arthur can join in with camp activities around the fire, but if morale is high, he can sing along with his fellow outlaws, and it has been said that Javier Escuela is quite the musician. Number 64, dual wielding is an unlockable. So dual wielding is an ability that has to be unlocked later in the game. It isn't available right at the beginning. Number 65, there is a form of fast travel that can be accessed via a map at Dutch's camp and in major settlements that you previously visited. Number 66, camp upgrades. So Dutch's camp can be upgraded. The example used by Polygon was, quote, if you upgrade Dutch's tent in the gang's camp, you'll unlock a map at your tent that will allow you to go to any settlement you previously visited via a cutscene of you right in there, end quote. So upgrades will be attainable through doing character missions, increasing morale at camp, and by providing resources, food, and money. Number 67, Deadeye ranks. So there are said to be 5 levels / ranks of Deadeye, 3 being almost identical to RDR 1, the most basic version being a time slowdown, second an automatic targeting painting, and the third is a manual target system. While the fourth we discussed in our previous 70 facts video, Arthur will be capable of highlighting major organs and weak points, which is massively beneficial in regards to hunting. And the fifth and final rank has yet to be mentioned by Rockstar. Number 68, weapons and horses will get dirty over time, which will affect their performance. Guns can degrade and jam, while horses will lose stamina and other stats without rest or being cared for. Number 69, horse customization. You can customize the equipment on Arthur's horses with 59 different styles of coat and a huge range of customizable options, including saddles, horns, stirrups, spurs, so you can create a horse that is truly your own. Number 70, horse upgrades. So items like stirrups and saddles, as an example, offer upgrades that in turn will increase your horse's health, stamina, and overall control of the animal, while upgraded saddlebags expand storage for clothes, masks, hats, weapons, and other equipment. Number 71, horse breeds. So there are 19 breeds of horse in Red Dead Redemption 2 that each handle differently with their own characteristics. Number 72, horses kick back. So horses have the ability to kick and can potentially kill a person with the right impact. Also, if Arthur has a poor relationship with his horse and happens to stand behind it and their trust level isn't high enough, then it has the potential to kick him, doing some damage. Number 73, you can melee on horseback. So Arthur has the option to kick enemies while he is riding horseback. Through the use of the melee button, Arthur will sidekick from his horse, which can be used to knock over opposing riders as they ride alongside you, or they can be used to kick civilians in the head as you ride by. Sorry, that's gonna be hilarious. Number 74, you can own a stable that stores a number of your horses. So if you have a mission that is tailored towards a horse with more speed, you can travel to your stable and switch it out for one of your stallions. Number 75, you can also purchase provisions for your stable to keep your horse fed instead of manually feeding him. Number 76. So we mentioned horse bonding in the previous video, but it can increase by feeding, grooming, petting your horse. Alongside what we mentioned previously, riding your horse will also increase that bond. Number 76, horse auctions. You will actually be able to buy and sell horses in auction stables. So you can break in horses out in the wild and then sell that horse on an auction for extra cash. Number 78, you can actually name your horse. Now, realistically, Arthur will never say the name out loud, but it's a nice little personal touch to the game. Number 79, Arthur's horse will automatically leap over obstacles in its path. Number 80, while on your horse, riding alongside a high-speed train, a button prompt will appear and Arthur will then be able to leap from his horse onto the moving train. You can also leap from the train onto your horse or leap onto carriages from your horse as well. Number 81, trains can also be hijacked and driven. So not only can you rob and stop high-speed trains, but you can also use them to outrun the law and travel from town to town. Number 82, horses collapse. So shooting a horse enough will cause the animal to collapse and the horse's corpse will actually crush whoever is riding it. This can lead to a rider being pinned beneath, unable to move, yet still being very much alive. Number 83, legendary animals. With the return of hunting challenges, we also have the return of hunting missions, which will lead Arthur to the last known location of specific legendary animals. We can assume their pelts and skins will hold great value and hopefully can be used to craft a unique item or outfit, but that's just speculation on my behalf. But these animals will be one of a kind. You can't continuously return and expect them to spawn in. Number 84, we're getting up there, lads. I'm out of breath. You can research animals with the focus button and add details into a journal, which gives a summary, almost Wikipedia, on each animal, where they're likely located on the map, their value, etc. Number 85, legendary sharpshooter. So alongside the inclusion of legendary animals is the addition of legendary sharpshooters from the Wild West, who have cards and can also be hunted like glorified bounty targets. Number 86, the ability to hog tie civilians, lawmen and outlaws makes a return, yet Arthur can supposedly tie enemies to objects in the environment. The example used was tying a man to a tree to interrogate him. Number 83, the soundtrack. So the talented composer Woody Jackson, who worked on Red Dead Redemption 1, returns to create the soundtrack for RDR 2. Number 88, quest givers are highlighted on the map via a yellow dot, not a block letter like the previous games. This also counts for specific side missions in the world when you're close by. So there is no real massive distinction between main and side missions. Everything is equally as important, and that's exactly what Rockstar are going for. Everything has meaning in this game. Number 89, so double tapping or holding the X button on PS4 will ensure Arthur keeps up and automatically rides alongside the gang, while R1 can be used to drop off and travel alone. Number 90, cinematic mode. So traveling towards a mission, start up alongside your fellow gang members with the press of X on PS4 or A on Xbox. It will trigger the cinematic camera, which will frame the journey with a montage of shots that emphasize the landscape and traveling group. We get a few examples of that in the gameplay trailer, and don't worry, it's optional. You can opt out of the cinematic shots whenever you want. Number 91, so the minimap can be customized. You can have it normal size, enlarged, or shrunken as a compass. You can also completely disable the game's HUD. The HUD is minimal by default, only showing the minimap in the bottom left corner, but you have the option to turn it off completely. Number 92, current time and temperatures are shown in the menu as you pause the game, or by pressing down on the D-pad. Number 93, the world's map will be covered in fog until you personally explore each location. Number 94, there are secret rooms. So as I mentioned in the previous video, Red Dead Redemption 2 will have more open buildings than we've ever seen from a Rockstar title, and some of the buildings there are said to be secret back rooms that can be accessed if you know the right people, like illegal poker, whorehouses, and certain gunsmiths may bring you into the back rooms to show you their black market weapons, and hopefully this ties in with the honor system. Number 95, so Arthur can politely knock on doors or beat them down, so you can commit certain robberies and break into civilians' houses as you explore the world. Number 96, Red Dead Redemption 2 has around 200 species of animals, birds and fish, all of which behave and respond to their environment in unique ways. And Rockstar have been posting quite a lot of images on their Twitter regarding the types of animals you can run into in Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 97, dogs and other household animals can be petted or scolded or told off by Arthur Morgan. The animals also said to remember that interaction. If you show up the next day, then that dog may not bark violently at you as you pass by because you were friendly with it previously. Number 98, bathing. So Arthur can take baths, either at camp or be bathed at local establishments. Number 99, prostitutes can be interacted with. So yeah, I forgot to mention that in the previous video. Arthur Morgan can pay questionable women for sex. Some are located at camp, while others sell their trade in local towns and brothels. Number 100, Arthur will receive a wanted level and bounty on his head for killing specific animals. So if you see a friendly dog hanging out in town and for whatever sadistic reason you choose to shoot it, civilians will report the crime and the local authorities will investigate your last known location. So dogs in this game are basically like the chickens of Skyrim. You fuck with one, the whole world fucks with you. Number 101, shrinking horse testicles. Never thought I'd have that heading on my channel, but there it is. But yeah, horse testicles shrink in cold weather conditions. Number 102, being drunk will change Arthur's conversation options. 103, skinning animals is way more graphic than RDR 1. You skin the entirety of the animal, and we actually see it. Number 104, there is a minor form of destructibility which is seen in the most recent gameplay trailer. We see it during the bank heist. The bank's wall is blown up as a getaway for the gang, and we get a major example as Arthur shoots unlit dynamite to blow up a horse's carriage as they pass by. Number 105, so Armadillo, a major town from Red Dead Redemption 1, and seriously a great example of a typical western town, is seen during the trailer. Number 106, Arthur receives bruises and cuts on his body as he takes damage. And based on this screenshot, we get some real detail from Rockstar in that regard. Number 107, Red Dead Redemption 2 will require a 105 gigabyte download, not including the day one patch or future updates. Number 108, so as Arthur, you can attend specific live performances such as plays and watch magic shows, and Arthur will, like everybody else, be in the crowd, yet the focus option is available, meaning you can applaud, like most people would, or literally antagonize and heckle the performers. Yeah, this game is amazing. Number 109, vastly improved transition. So we've seen a massive improvement from GTA 5 in this regard, yet Red Dead Redemption 2 has clearly built upon transitioning from a cutscene straight into gameplay, and vice versa. It's extremely smooth and natural looking. Now the last two facts may be deemed as minor spoilers, so heads up. 110, John versus Arthur Morgan. So John Marston and our protagonist Arthur Morgan's relationship is more like an uneasy alliance at the beginning of the game. Their tense relationship will be widely apparent through their first few interactions. This was reported by many media outlets, specifically Jared Petty on Red Dead Radio, stated, quote, "It became very clear that Arthur and John did not get along," end quote. And it's not due to their previous history. Arthur just sees John as a person that lacks a backbone and simply doesn't respect him. So we'll see that relationship grow throughout the game. Number 111, the O'Driscoll gang. So there is a gang known as the O'Driscolls that pose a minor threat to Dutch and his band of misfits. They are led by a man called Colm O'Driscoll, and they will play a major role in a mission titled, quote, "Paying a Social Call," which leads to a choice of recruiting a new member from the O'Driscolls to Dutch's gang or not. And another mission title is, quote, "Who the hell is Levectus Cornwall?" which takes place in the Grizzly Mountains, and Dutch van der Linde introduces Cornwall to the player and the gang. And to answer that question, he is a somewhat famous local entrepreneur, owns oil rigs, banks, trains, and is set up to be an early antagonist in the story. He represents everything that Dutch van der Linde and the gang hate. He uses his money to control the region and to better himself instead of the local people. So now for the outro. So there are quite a few story facts out there. An article from Game Informer specifically literally talks about the first 3 hours of the story, and they go pretty in depth with some, I guess, heavy spoilers. So I'm not about to cover that stuff. We want the game to be somewhat of a surprise. So for now, that is the end of the video, guys. A long one, but hopefully you appreciate this much more instead of me taking like 20 videos to cover everything I just mentioned like the majority would. So we'll possibly have 2 more facts videos, one regarding the single player and the other regarding Red Dead Online sometime in November. And Rockstar are continuously releasing screenshots regarding random things about the game, so we'll probably cover those too. And I have 2 questions for you guys. Answer in the comments so I can see who exactly made it this far into the video, because fuck me, it's long. So what is your favorite moment from the most recent trailer? And my second question, what are you guys going to name your horse? This is important. But yeah, that is all I got. We have character videos on the horizon, so stay tuned for more Red Dead Redemption 2 content here on AAA Digest. Later, guys. Love you. Bye bye.
Everything's absolutely splendid.
Walking down the street and you hear that heavy beat, kind